Capitalism, we hear that word all the time, right? But have you ever stopped to think about where this massive global system actually came from? It wasn't just invented one day. Nope. Its story has been unfolding for centuries, a system that's constantly being shaped and reshaped. And it all really started with the collision of three fundamental forces. First up, something as old as humanity itself, trade. I mean, for thousands of years, we've been exchanging things to get what we need or what we want. This simple act, buying and selling, it's the absolute bedrock of any economy. Okay, so you've got trade. Now let's throw in another major ingredient, power. From the very first empires to the governments of today, people in charge have always wanted to control resources and pile up wealth. They use their power to guard trade routes, conquer new territories, and basically write the economic rules in their favor. And the third piece of the puzzle, technology. This one is a real game changer. Think about it. From the first sailing ships to the algorithms running our phones today, new inventions have always completely revolutionized how we make things, how we connect, and how we do business. So, trade, power, and technology. Keep those three in your head because they're the forces that literally built the world we're living in right now. So, with those three big forces swirling around, what exactly is capitalism? Let's peel back the layers and really unpack the core components of this system that's pretty much everywhere now. Okay, so here's the textbook definition. Sounds a little dry, I know, but the two phrases to lock onto here are private ownership, which just means people and companies, not the government, own the factories and the tools, and operation for profit. That's the big one. That's the motivation that makes the whole thing go. But, a definition is one thing. To really get it, you've got to look at what I call its four pillars. First, there's private ownership, which we just talked about. Then you've got market competition, companies battling it out for your business. Third, you need capital investment. That's people putting up money for new ideas, hoping to get more back. And finally, you have that powerful profit motive, the simple desire to make money. When you put all four of those together, they work like a powerful engine. Now, let's hop in the time machine. Because while that four-pillar system is pretty modern, the individual parts have been lying around for a very, very long time. Our journey starts way back in the age of trade. This timeline really shows you what a slow burn it was. Way back in ancient Rome, sure, you had markets and people trying to make a profit, but the real economy was all about owning land and collecting tribute. Then the Middle Ages roll around, feudalism starts to fade, and you get these bustling cities with merchants, guilds, and even some early banks. But it wasn't until the mercantilist era that things really started heating up. Now you have whole countries competing, controlling trade, and setting up colonies, all to suck in as much gold as they possibly could. The money was building up, but the state still had its hands firmly on the controls. And then, bam, everything changes. In the 18th century, a radical new idea slams right into some world-changing technology. This collision creates a perfect storm that forges the modern world as we know it. The big idea came from thinkers like Adam Smith. He basically came along and said, hey, what if we let go of the reins? What if we let people chase their own self-interest in a competitive market? He believed this invisible hand could actually end up making everyone better off. I mean, compared to centuries of kings controlling everything, this was a totally revolutionary idea. And just as these ideas were catching fire, technology provided the fuel. We're talking about the steam engine, the factory system, and just look at this chart. The growth in our ability to make stuff was insane. It wasn't just a little step up, it was like a rocket ship taking off, creating wealth on a scale nobody had ever seen before. And you have to understand, this wasn't just about the economy. It totally rewired society. Life itself fundamentally changed. Huge factories made little workshops obsolete. Millions of people poured out of the countryside and into crowded cities, all looking for work. And for the first time in history, most people earned their living from a wage, not from farming a plot of land. This created an entirely new group of people, the industrial working class. So, this new system of industrial capitalism was an absolute powerhouse for creating growth. But, and this is a big but, all that incredible power came with a catch. The system was also deeply unstable, and it drew brand new battle lines right through the middle of society. This right here shows you the central conflict perfectly. On one side, you have capital, the owners of the factories. Their goal is simple, maximize profit, which means keeping costs low. On the other side, you have labor, the workers. And what do they want? Fair pay, safe workplaces, not working 16-hour days. The clash between these two groups would pretty much define politics and society for the next 200 years. And while all this was happening, technology was making the world feel smaller and smaller. With railways, steamships, and the telegraph, you could suddenly move goods, money, and ideas across the entire planet faster than ever before. Capitalism wasn't just a European thing anymore. It was now a truly global network. But this high-speed global system had a big problem. It was prone to these wild booms followed by absolutely devastating busts. After a few of these crises, it became pretty obvious that pure hands-off markets were just too volatile. So governments started to step in. They created regulations, set up central banks to manage the money, and built social safety nets like unemployment benefits to cushion the blow when things went wrong. All right, let's fast forward to our time. Because just like the steam engine turned the 19th century on its head, digital technology is doing the exact same thing to capitalism right now, as we speak. This table just nails the shift. Think about it. Back in the mercantilist era, what was valuable? Physical stuff, right? Gold, spices. Then in the industrial age, it was the big machines, the factories that made things. But today, the most valuable assets are often invisible. It's data. It's the algorithms that sift through it. The whole game of what creates value has changed. And this new game has created a totally new economic landscape. We're talking about a world dominated by huge platform companies, the incredible rise of AI and automation, a gig economy that's completely redefining what a job even is, and capital and data that can zip across the globe in the blink of an eye. So what's the big takeaway here? Capitalism isn't some fixed thing that was just invented and set in stone. It's a living, evolving system that's always in motion. It's the ongoing story of how those three forces we started with, trade, power, and technology, keep interacting, keep colliding, and keep changing our world. Which brings us to the final, ultimate question. The system has morphed from mercantile to industrial to digital. So with massive forces like AI, climate change, and global crises on the horizon, you have to wonder, what's next? What shape will it take in our lifetime?